This is a video on my Lipo nickel metal NiCad discharger. Show the operation of the unit. First thing we'll do is plug it in. I recommend a 2 amp power supply. I think it'd probably work on 1, but the 1 amp power supply operates the display, the relay, and the fans. Once it's plugged in, the fans are on all the time. This helps keep the unit super cool. So we'll go ahead and hook it up to our power supply. My unit has a voltage display and an amperage display. It's got 2 rates of discharge. The high rate's about 23 amps. The low rate's about 15 amps. We'll go ahead and get this started, and I'll do a little explaining while the battery's discharging. We'll plug it into my leads here, and we'll push the center button. That will start the unit discharging. You can see the voltage is dropping about 735 and 22 amps. And I'll explain a little bit while I built this unit. I've been discharging my batteries and recharging at a fairly high rate for about 2 years since I got my iCharger. I'm a person that runs multiple classes, so I like to keep both channels of my iCharger open. Of course, if you're discharging at a higher rate through the iCharger, you got to take the other channel and hook it to a resistor bank or bulbs. I've been racing a long time. I use my NiCad nickel metal bulbs, and the guy that pitted beside me burned his arm on them, and that's what got me thinking about building this discharge box. It's continuing to drop. The one thing about an iCharger, as the voltage drops, the amperage actually goes up. At least at the, if you're not using the bulbs and just using the channel, that you can discharge about 12 amps. I like this better in that the voltage is dropping, or the amperage is dropping as the voltage drops. As that battery gets closer to being empty, it's taking a little bit less juice out of it all the time. And the one thing I have found over my 1.5 years of using my units, the ideal voltage to recharge is about 7.2 to 7.3. And what we want this figure to drop to about 7. This is a new unit. I've got it set at 7 volts for a set off. It's actually looking at the voltage at the load rather than at the battery. I could have run leads out to the battery and got the voltage, like you would at the battery, but I think it's better to have the voltage at the load. We want to take that down to about 7 volts. And we're on the high rate. One thing I like about it, having the high and the low rate, it takes it down to 7 volts at a higher amperage rate, and then it'll take it back down to that 7 volts at a lower amperage rate, 15 amps. It take a little bit more out of the battery, but it won't take the cells down too far in voltage to hurt the pack any at all. So I say it's continually going down to 7.00. So where it's set. Like I say, I've calibrated this unit to shut off there. My ideal voltage I like to have is about 6.97 or 6.98, but we'll just take it down to the 7 volt level, see where the pack is at after we get it discharged. You can take down full packs with this, with the Lipo. The unit won't get warm. The dual fans that I've got on the back cool the resistor bank inside of it real nicely. Like I say, once the unit shuts off, and you could shut it off at any time pushing the center button. Say you were going to walk away for a while, you could hit that center button, it would stop. See, your amperage is back at 0. You hit the center button, just click it. The voltage is coming back up to what the actual pack voltage is without a load on it. We'll go ahead and start discharging yet again. But if you need to walk away for a little bit, my ideal thing, I like to have a little bit of warmth. And the one thing with using the resistor bank and going up at a higher rate with the discharger, say up to whatever it can do, 40 amps or around there, I think it gets the packs too warm. I like to just have them a nice warm level when I go to recharge them. I don't want them hot. And the way I do this, it does a pretty good job at taking these down safely. As I say, your amperage is continuing to drop along with the voltage. But it's still discharging almost 21.5 amps here as we're getting ready to shut off on the high rate. Takes a little bit of time, 5 minutes or so. And the one thing I've seen, and this is one of my better packs right here, usually it'll reach kind of a stopping point voltage and then it'll go down fairly quickly to the shut off voltage. It's getting ready to shut off right now. The alarm is annoying. Your buddies pit next to you will learn how to shut it off just by hitting the center button. Now it's looking at the pack voltage is about 735 right now. Pretty well discharged, but not quite fully. So we'll take it down to the low rate and hit the unit again. And now it's about a 15 amp discharge rate. As you can see, the voltage is up a little bit, back up to about 7.1. And it takes that little bit more out of the pack, but it isn't hurting the pack by doing it. A lot of times it'll sit here at this voltage for a while, and then you'll see it start to drop, and then it'll start to drop real quick. If you ever watch your batteries discharge on your discharger, you know when they reach that certain voltage, they'll start dropping really quick. This is one of my better packs, so it's pretty steady. It'll shut off. Now we kind of want to look at that pack voltage. I've calibrated this unit. I'd like to see with one of my better packs like this about 7.2 on that. So we'll go in and recalibrate it real quick here. Hold down the center button. You go through my calibration video, you'll understand what I'm doing here. I'm going up to the setting where it sets the shut off. It's at 7 volts. We're going to take that down to about 697. That's where I like to see about 7.2 on one of these packs. Go step on through to the save mode, which is 4. Switch it to yes and hit the center button. Okay, we're at 723. We'll go ahead and take it down just that little bit more. And the pack should come up about 7.2. Of course, it'll continue to rise just a little bit higher than that, but see, it's actually showing 7.15. It'll come back up to about 7.2. Like to say, this is one of my good packs. An older pack, maybe a little cheaper pack, that number may be 735, 740. But what it's seeing is one cell dropping really quick, so it shuts off safely before it hurts the battery. Now this pack is warm to the touch, not hot. it's ready to be charged right away on your iCharger or your high amp. And I like to charge at 25 amps. Seems like it's a pretty good, it'll charge fairly quickly, don't get the pack too hot. But anyway, we'll go ahead and start charging it. See, I don't know if you can see that. It's just a little below 3.6 on the cell voltages. Rougher pack, older pack, that number may be close to 3.7. But even still, you're pretty much taking your battery down as far as it can go safely. That's my feelings. I've been doing this for about 1.5 years this way. Recharge it while it's warm. Like I say, I like to charge at 25 amps. I guess it's your own choice how you charge. But by doing this, it's been keeping my cells at when they're charged in the low ones to the middle ones. And even my older packs, some that are over 2 years old that I wasn't using this unit, are still down in the high ones after 2 years of use. And anybody that knows me, I race a lot. Those batteries have been used probably good 100 charges, and they're still real good internals by doing my discharge and my charge this way. Anyway, we'll let it go. That's how my unit works. Say it could discharge nickel metals. You can set the low voltage rate on it to where, 5.4 is where we used to shut them down. The hard discharge, that's about where your batteries are starting to drop off real quick. But this is a good unit. Like I say, I've used my original one probably almost a year and never had any failures on it till I give it to somebody else. And what I think he done is he hooked the battery up backwards and hit the unit, turned it on, and it fried a circuit on the display board, so the relay didn't work in it anymore. Like I say, I never had any problems with it. If you hook your battery up backwards to it, it'll show 0 volts. So you got a battery, hook a battery up, and you don't see that voltage up, be going, I think I hooked my battery up backwards. Don't hit that center button and start it trying to discharge, because it will hurt the unit. That's the only thing I've ever had fail on one of these, and like I say, it never failed on me. It was right after I give it to somebody else, that unit, when I'd build a new one. Pretty good, nice little box it sits in. Anyway, thanks for checking out my video on my discharger. Homemade, but it definitely works. And if you're using nickel metal or NiCads, you might go through my calibration video. You might have to set the voltage a little different, but I think I've got it set to where you could easily discharge nickel metals, but you'll have to set the low voltage cutoff. Anyway, thanks.